Hello, everyone. My name is William Smith. I am the author of Oil Rich, A Brief History of Guyana and Why the U.S. and China Have Interests. So I've been making lots of videos about this oil discovery, and I want to back away from the oil discovery, and I want to talk about this election that's upcoming because I think the focus needs to really be on the education system in Guyana and preparing this next generation for the future of Guyana. As I go to Guyana and I talk to people and I look at the schools, I realize that the public education in Guyana does not have a lot of investment. And I want you all to think about your own K through 12 schooling, meaning when you were a little kid from 5 years old to 18. What did your education look like in Guyana? Did the government ensure that the villages and the community have good schools? What are the teachers' wages? Do the teachers have enough money to where they can buy homes in Guyana, where they can take care of their own family? Matter of fact, how many of the villages have libraries so people could have books to learn about the history of Guyana, to learn about the region? Because even if you don't learn about the overall history of Guyana, what about the history of that region? Just want to bring these questions up because this is what's going to be important for the future of Guyana. The education structure. So with this next election, I know everyone's talking about oil contracts and the critical minerals and Valenzuela and all the people coming in. But Guyana's number one resource is the people of Guyana. So what do the presidential candidates have to lay out to talk about how they're going to reshape the education structure in Guyana? Because I can tell you right now, hearing stories from my mom when she went to school out there as a kid, she said that they went to school, I think it was like maybe from 5, and then I think she said high school was only for people who had money. So it stopped at a certain level, and it was hard for them to even get books. There wasn't no library in the villages. And so this is why I think the focus really needs to be on this next generation and really literacy and technology. So one initiative, I don't hear no president candidate talk about broadband, meaning they're going to look at infrastructure to make sure that there's Wi-Fi in the villages, to ensure that this new generation will have access to information. That's what I want to see. These are some of the conversations that need to take place. So as I'm making videos, like I said before, I will keep talking about different points, different ideas for this upcoming election, because I know that when the people of Guyana come together, things can really change, because Guyana needs to become one. In a video I talked about with Adriana Young, I talk about One Guyana and realizing that these bodies are just our carriers. This is spiritual. So we have Indo-Guyanese and Afro-Guyanese, but there's such a division. Not realizing that these bodies are just carriers. You know, we have our Amerindians, Guyanese. I don't hear people advocating for that group. These bodies are spiritual. We have to focus on really having one Guyana, because when I look at this current administration, I don't see one Guyana. I hear people talk about, well, we're giving cash grants, we're doing this, we're doing that. But if you think about the cash grants, that equates to maybe $400 US. And I know with the amount of times I go to Guyana, that type of money does not go far. I'm not saying you got to pay the citizens cash grants. I am saying invest in your citizens. Let's start seeing more investment into education structure, training for employment for the sectors that are coming to Guyana. Making sure that the Guyanese workforce is prepared for this future. So 2 points: broadband to the villages where you're working on fiber optics, ensuring that there's high-speed internet in these villages. The government can do that with this resources, with the wealth that's coming in. And revamping the education structure, which would include libraries in the villages, and changing the way the structure is for the schools, making sure the schools are in buildings that are functional, making sure the teachers' wages are beneficial. So once again, my name is William Smith, the author of Oil Rich, A Brief History of Guyana. You can get my book on Amazon. Have an amazing.